live streaming for many churches has gone from a distant future for when our church grows to now becoming a regular part of our culture. And it's this new culture though that comes with new problems. So these problems are like, it looks like,
Did you start streaming? Can they hear us? Is there volume?
I don't know, we'd have to check it. Check, 1, 2. Yeah, see? You can see it there. When it's red, that means it's good.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, you have to talk. You may have to talk loud though. Whew. Yeah, we need to start figuring this stuff out, people. Along with the lack of knowledge, sometimes money is at the root of these problems. And ministries don't realize how affordable and how easy it can be to start live streaming with class, with dignity, with professionalism, with very simple tools that you probably already have, with one computer, one person, and one camera. That's our context for today. What if I only had those 3 things? And it was up to me to make this service or this worship set or this talk a possibility. Let's start with the cameras. A lot of people love the tech of cameras and of microphones and what it takes to make a video or make a live stream. There's so many flipping options for cameras though these days. It takes a brand new religion to keep up with all that's available. So don't get caught up on the style or manufacture of the camera. There's a lot of wars going on these days about what camera is best and what camera company is best. But I look at it like this. I want the best camera for many different jobs. And my favorite type of cameras for live streaming and many other things are mirrorless or DSLR style cameras that allow you to change the lenses and get different looks on the camera. Also, I do a little bit of photography on the side, so having a mirrorless camera like the Canon EOS R is what I use, so that's what both of these cameras are. Hello. Allow me to do some photography as well as do videos like these and live stream like what we're talking about today. So for this context of one camera, one computer, and one person, just make sure that whatever camera you go with or already have has an HDMI output on the side. Now, of course, there are a lot of different types of video outputs on cameras, but for this context, if you're only shooting for one camera, probably the simplest output is your HDMI output. A lot of your cameras will have an HDMI mini output like the Canon EOS R, like what I'm using today. I run that to my computer with an interface. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the most important thing is make sure your camera, the one that you go with or already have, gives you a clean feed. What does that mean? That means you don't have to see focus boxes around my face. You don't see shooting information around the edge of the screen. It just looks nice and clean. It's just the image that you want to see and you want your viewers to see as well. So for my setup today, as you can see here, I'm going to lead a live worship set with one camera, one computer, and just me, well, and a keyboard and a mic. I have my camera over here in front of me with the HDMI output like I talked about. Again, that's the Canon EOS R. Running from my camera, I have an HDMI mini to a normal, like a standard size HDMI cable. So mini on one side, HDMI standard on the other side. To connect my camera to my computer, I'm using a video interface called the CamLink 4K. This is a interface by Elgato, and it makes it amazing to use a camera, like a mirrorless camera with a computer. I'm telling you, it is plug and play, and it is awesome. And you can run audio through it as well. You don't have to worry about any extra audio sources. And that's exactly what we're doing today because of that context. Like I said, one computer, one person, one camera. I want to make this the simplest way to go live with excellence. It doesn't really matter what computer you're using, but I'm using the 16-inch MacBook Pro, and it does have the USB-C port on the side. So I have to adopt my CamLink, which is a regular USB-C-A, to that USB-C with this little adapter that I found on Amazon. I'm just sharing that with you because it works great and I've never had a problem with it. Some of you may be wondering, how are you getting your mic and your keyboard into your camera? How is that even possible? Well, I am using an interface for that as well. I'm using the XR18 by Behringer, and then I'm going out of that interface into my camera just with that little bitty 1/8-inch cable. Yes, I probably do suffer some audio quality loss, but again, let me say it one more time. I want simplicity for today's video. So I've dialed in my audio settings on the XR18. I've sent that over to the camera with a little cable, and then I'm going out of the camera with the CamLink into Restream, and that's also my audio source. And in my opinion, it still sounds really good doing it that way. Now, keep in mind, if you're only speaking on your live stream, you can use an on-camera mic, like the Shure lens hopper. I actually have it on top of that camera up there just for the heck of it. Literally directly connected to your camera with that 1/8 inch jack. So for this camera, this shot right here, I'm using an NTG2 by Rode. It's connected directly to camera, and that's what you're hearing right now. It's best if you're like, 2 to 3 feet away. If you're too far away from these type of mics, it can sound, you can really start to hear the room sound, and it doesn't sound as good. But the mics on the camera, built into the camera that they give you, they just don't do very well. Sometimes your computer mic might sound better than the camera mic. So that's why I use a mic like the NTG2 or the Shure lens hopper to give me a better overall quality for the live stream, or for videos that I'm making like this. This is very important. Take some time to test your video and your audio sources. So if your video and audio source is coming through the same thing, test it. If it's not coming through the same thing, test it. It's so important that you test your audio and your video before you go live. I have seen way too many times people hopping on a live stream, whether they're just talking or playing, like, can you hear it? You got us live? You got audio? That's not how you want to start your video. You can even go live privately to like YouTube or something like that and give it a nice solid test, so that way you know for sure that when you go live and you say, welcome to my live stream, that you have audio and you don't have to test it with your audience. They will probably leave if you do. Also, take some time to frame your shot with some thought. Be creative and consider what your audience will see. They may not want to see a messy room or a huge glare coming in from a window. And if you have to sit like in front of the window where the window's facing you so you can have a nice light source if you don't have a light source already. Using a quality light is also very important for live stream. The higher quality you can give that stream, the higher quality that your audience will see it on the other side.